Happy Friday.
Happy December. Oh my gosh, how did we get here?
I don't know. Before we know it's going to be 2023.
I know. And like, I don't mind as much the cold before Christmas, but after Christmas, I just hate it. Mm-hmm. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's going to suck being outside in the cold. I was walking yesterday and I was like, okay, it's 32 degrees. It's okay. Everything's fine. You know, trying to talk yourself into it. Just breathe.
I know. It's not enjoyable. And I know I should get outside and walk, but I've gotten into this habit of walking on my treadmill inside with my new desk for my computer. And I just it makes me even want to not go outside even more.
Yeah, well, that's okay because your little project that you got or your little contraption makes me go on Amazon. So I'm texting Becca. I was like, I got a walking pad for my office. And then I was like, shit, I don't have a standing desk. So then I'm looking and I think we're going to pull a plunge. I found one for like $200. That's like a nice desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were talking about it. You can either buy one of the contraptions to sit on top of your current desk.
Okay.
That will turn it into a standing desk. But then the whole thing is, you're like hitting yourself where the desk is. So you have to have a standing desk. So, and then Art's like, oh, I can build one for you. And just said, you know, between your time and the cost. So your little contraption that inspired me to get this is now $400 or $500.
Well, I'm using a Little People's box to put my computer on top of because it doesn't, if it were just on top of the treadmill contraption, it's way too low to type on. Oh, right. And so I'm like makeshift. But it works, and I love it. And every morning I'm getting in like a couple miles first thing in the morning walking. Because I'm not going to use it on calls or anything like that, obviously. But yeah, I'm loving it, and it makes me not walk outside anymore because I just go downstairs on the treadmill.
Yeah. I'm excited because there's just so many things that we do that are off calls.
Yes.
That if I can have the standing desk and I can have the walking pad, then I can use that, or especially like days that I'm not, going to the gym and stuff. So
yeah. Did you have a wonderful Thanksgiving?
We did. So my dad came up. That was fun. It was actually pretty low key. We watched, we watched a lot of movies.
Yes.
A lot of shows. Got all my Christmas cards done. Wrapped a bunch of stuff. I mean, we had a pretty productive day. I will say. We went on Black Friday to Oak Brook, which was a mistake.
I saw your video. I was like, why?
Yeah. I mean, the restaurant was not actually busy. But everywhere else in the mall was insane. And so, I mean, we still enjoyed it other than Marcus drew all over the wall with a pen, which was awesome. But, it's okay. We just...
oh, it's so great.
Quietly had to get out of there ASAP. I mean, there was no washing it off. Like, it wasn't going to happen. So I'm sure that happens. But,
yeah, I mean, toddlers, small children just do things that are, just, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
They're
so it was
children.
very non-traditional, which I liked. I'm not a big fan of turkey and stuffing and potatoes and all that stuff. So
yeah, we had a good time. We were at Nick's parents'.
How did your Bloody Mary bar go?
Oh, it was great. I actually had a Bloody Mary. I haven't had a Bloody Mary in probably 3 years. And I do enjoy them. They just get really filling really fast because of the tomato juice and stuff. So I enjoyed a Bloody Mary and it was wonderful. And I've found my sweet spot. If and when I drink, it's 2.5 drinks is my max. And you need to finish them earlier on in the evening/day because otherwise I'm a disaster. And I was joking with Nick because my hangovers, if I drink too much, which is more than 3 drinks, get progressively worse as the day goes on the next day. Most people wake up and it's bad then, and then it gets better. No, mine starts off as nothing, and then by the end of the day I feel awful. So it's not worth it. So which is why I rarely drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm excited because, and we're already starting this now, but January 1st, as I told you, we have a crew. So I'm crazy. And I messaged Becca and I'm like, I saw Andy and Emily Frisella are starting 75 Hard. I kind of want to do it now, but we're gone for 5 days in Florida and just
way too
with a toddler. It's not the 2 outdoor workouts or whatever. It's not going to happen. So I have my niece who's done 75 before, my nephew who's attempted it, my other nephew, my husband's nephew who's attempted it, and his girlfriend. So we are all committing to it again, January 1st. And I'm excited. I actually told them though, I am not going to be the crazy person that if it's literally blizzarding and snowing outside. It's crazy. I'm going to do my walk inside. But it's 90 minutes of movement. We've done it before.
Yep.
Exactly how it's written. So people, if you want to join us.
I started phase 2.
Phase 1.
Phase 1. I get so confused.
Phase 2 is so much easier than phase 1.
No, I know. So I started phase 1. I've started it now twice. I started it again yesterday.
I made it 5 days with you. And then I was like.
So phase 1 is like 75 hard plus a 5-minute cold shower. I'm doing a cold bath because I find those just like,
they're easier.
My bath gets colder. I cannot get my shower very cold.
Okay.
And so I've been doing the bath. And then it is 10 minutes of visualization a day and 8 critical power tasks versus 5.
Right.
And so it's 2 workouts, water, diet, all of that, the 10 pages of reading. And the reason I'm doing it right now is because I am so much more productive when I do it. Like, I did not like how consumed by social media I had gotten in that time off. I did not like how I was kind of like letting all of these things slip back into my diet that I didn't feel good doing. So I started it again. I'm not doing it as written, and I'm more than happy to admit that. I'm just doing all of the tasks because I love how I feel and I love how much I get done when I do them.
Yeah. No, it definitely brings so much productivity to your day because you have intent.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's, kind of what we want to talk about today with you all as we approach the last, 30 days, 29 days of the year, is how are you living with intent or how are you living with purpose? Because I agree with you 1000%. Even those 3 additional tasks along with the visualization, which has made me use my muse. So I'm still doing a lot of the habits, but not as I was tracking in the app and I was taking my picture and I was doing all the things. And then I said I failed and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go back to what is doable each and every day right now without it letting become like an overwhelming stressor.
For sure.
So, if you think about the next 28, 29 days that we have here until January 1st, many people are going to say, I'll just wait until January 1st. I'm just going to enjoy the cookies, or I'm just going to have a couple more drinks or bottles of wine, or, I'll start at the gym again. It's too cold outside for me to do things. And we hear it all the time in terms of like the rationalizations.
Yeah.
And so we kind of want to challenge you guys to stop waiting and start, even if it's not perfect, right? And you don't have to do 75 hard in the beginning of the year.
No.
Like Becca and I did it, and we did it for a reason. Honestly, this go around, I'm going to do it because I also want to just support my family to also finish. And it's just, it brings so much productivity and intent to your day. And so you don't have to be crazy with it, but write down maybe 3 or 4 things that you've needed to commit to that make you feel good, and start doing it now. And then maybe if you want to take it to the next level on January 1st, great. But instead of being that person who says, I'm just going to eat the cookies, I'm just going to, have more of the wine or the chocolates or enjoy all these parties, and then I'll get really restrictive, right? Flip the switch on January 1st. Start making changes every single day so that you can just feel good.
Yeah. And it does, honestly, like, guys, it does not need to be a lot. And this is the biggest thing, is the only way you lose is by not trying at all. Just like throwing in the towel, just being like, you know what, screw it. I don't want to try. Because you probably don't like the feel of failure. And that's ultimately why you're not trying, because you are probably setting yourself up for failure by putting way too much on your plate, not actually being able to accomplish all of those things realistically, and then continuing to fail. And that's a horrible feeling. It is. It's a horrible feeling. Yeah. But what if you try just a little bit, take a small action and accomplish something, moving forward in some way, even if it's not huge? Because guess what? 29 days until the new year at this point, like, there's a lot that can happen in 29 days with just one habit a day. And think about approaching it with a non-negotiable mind. Yeah. Start with one day. Today, I'm going to track my food because I have struggled to track my food for the past 3 months. So just one day, just today, and have no rationalizations, no justifications, no reason for not doing it. Commit to it and do it and check the box and show yourself that you can, because that's one of the biggest things that I love the Live Hard program for. It shows me I have the time in the day that I always tell myself I don't. Like what I can accomplish in a day on this program, when I'm not on the program, I'm like, oh, I have no time. I don't have time to do those things. I just can't. I can't fit it in. And then I fit it in and I'm like, oh shit, I do have time. I'm just not prioritizing the right things. I am not putting my time on a, time block day in terms of this is when I'm doing this is when I'm doing this, and not getting lost in my phone or just like watching Netflix too late or whatever it is, and then screwing myself because I'm exhausted and I sleep through my alarm because I stayed up too late the night before. Like committing to it ruthlessly and getting it done. And it does not need to be the dozens of tasks that is the Live Hard program. It can be tracking food or drinking a certain amount of water or not eating chocolate at night. Like think about the habits that you struggle to break and commit to just those things for one day, and show yourself you can. And then the next day when you wake up, do it again. One day, not 28 days, not 3 months, one day.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a great point here because, a lot of people will then immediately think, well, Christmas, well, I have 3 parties, well, I have this. And then it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't commit to cutting out chocolate or saying no to sweets until after those things. And so what happens is those 2 or 3 events turn into the entire month because you're now waiting to go really restrictive instead of, like Becca's saying, take it one day at a time. And I guarantee you, if you do that, by the time that day comes, maybe that chocolate no longer holds a stronghold on you, right? That you're not as tempted to indulge into it, whatever this could be. Insert, any other type of food. Some people it's fried food. Some people it's sugar. Some people it's, alcohol. Whatever that is for you, commit to one day. And if you want to track your progress, we've talked about this before, but I love that app called Streaks, right? I'm a person, I like to check a box. So I like to set my 4 or 5 commitments, however many, maybe for you, it's 1, just start with 1. Start where you are with whatever it is that you can do that you feel is doable, but commit to it and track it. And when you do that, every time you check that box or you close that ring, you build confidence that, hey, this is not as hard as I thought it was. Or, hey, I can really do this. Maybe now I want to take it to the next level and add in workouts. Or like you mentioned, like maybe it's tracking my food. Now I want to dial this in a little bit further and I want to get a little closer with maybe my macro intake or my protein intake or balancing my meals, increasing my vegetables, whatever it is for you. Start anywhere that you are, right now, and just recognize 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Hey, that's better than none if you don't even try. And I think this is something I posted recently, out of a book that's called Start. And he talks about this, like start now, stop waiting, start where you are, and don't worry about what other people are doing, right? So you hear us on here, Becca's doing phase 1. I'm getting ready to restart, 75 hard. That's great for us. That's what we've chosen that we individually need. Maybe you need just to drink some more water today or choose a salad instead of the fries next time. Whatever it is, commit to it, because by the time January 1st rolls around, you're either going to feel proud that, hey, I did these things more than I ever have in the years past because I was stuck in that mindset of I'll just wait till January 1st. Or you're going to start January 1st the same way that you have for the last 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. And like how many people do you know that have those like great aspirations and huge goals and plans that they never take action on? There's a lot of them. I know a lot of them. And they always talk about that next thing they're going to do or the next diet they're going to follow or what they're currently trying to do, but like they haven't been able to, commit to it fully. And what these people are doing is they're letting fear, they're letting excuses, they're letting external circumstances influence their actions. And I think that we give way too much credit and way too much power to things like our job or the weather or like our kids sometimes, because heck, like it's easier to blame those things for us not doing what we know we could probably do, because then you're not to blame. They're to blame. And I've said this before, like I will never, ever blame my children for me not doing what I choose to do or want to do, because they don't deserve that. My children do not deserve to be blamed for me not feeling good in my skin or not fitting in my workout or not eating the right foods. Like I control what I put in my mouth. I control what food ends up in the house. Because guess what? My children are 4 and 1. I control what gets bought and put in the grocery cart. Like, yes, my child and toddler sometimes influence that when they're with me at the grocery store, but...
Or your husband.
Or my husband. funny story. I texted my husband this morning. I was like, tell me what I wrote for dinner tonight because I can't remember. And he goes, salmon teriyaki. But I crossed it out and put pizza. I was like, such a jerk. I was like, take the salmon out of the freezer. But we put too much on these external sources. And guess what that's doing? That's giving all your power away. That's giving all your power to all these other things. And you have none left. You have no control now over your life. How does that feel? I hope it doesn't feel good. It's probably a really shitty way, actually, to live your life when you blame everything else. And when you accept the responsibility, you accept that power back. And that is what we want. We want you guys to have the power of your life. I hope that's what you want. Like, yes, can a job make it hard? Can kids make it hard? I'm not discounting any of this stuff. They make it harder. But it makes it that much sweeter when you actually commit to something and accomplish something for yourself then.
Yeah. And eventually you just wake up one day and you're a totally different person. Like I remember so many times in 75 Hard where we would be questioning, oh, well, we have this going on this weekend. How am I going to make it through Art's 40th birthday? You had your, trip. And then every morning I woke up with a renewed sense of purpose to live the day with intent. And all of a sudden, all of those other stressors that were my rationalizations or excuses before became nothing.
Yeah.
Like as we, started this out, like the productivity, the sense of purpose and intent that you have when you wake up and you're determined, even again, if it's one thing that you're going to accomplish today and you do it, and then you lay your head on the pillow that night, you're proud of it. Mm-hmm. And if you do that day in and day out, not only are you going to show up better for everybody else, but you are going to be happier and more fulfilled rather than, I think just most people live life with this sense of regret. I don't think that regret is everyone. I think that that's a strong word for some people, but I think that there's either, guilt or shame or wishing I did or I, had done, right?
I think complacency.
Complacency. Yeah, absolutely. And so if you can get out of that state and say, you know what, no more. And I'm not going to wait till 2023. I'm going to wake up tomorrow or the day after you're listening to this podcast, or heck, right now. Stop listening to the podcast, go rate and review it, and then download that app and get started with your habit, whatever it is that you are going to choose to commit to. And then tell somebody about it.
Yes.
I think this is huge. You need to tell somebody about it. Text one of us, whether it's...
Seriously, I told one of our clients to do that yesterday because she was like, no one in my family eats healthy. And I think sometimes I just get worn down. I had the Chinese food this weekend because I just I'm faced with it every day of these foods that my family wants to get and eat. And I can say no a lot of times, but and I get that. I totally feel that. I will be the first to admit, I would not have finished 75 Hard without Liz doing it with me.
Yeah.
I would not. It would have been too hard. We did it through the summer. I did it for my birthday.
The summer over the winter.
Yeah, true story. But yeah, I mean, I think having that accountability partner helps so much. So much. And if you guys need us to be that for you, message us on Facebook. Shoot us a message. We would be more than happy to help you guys through this if you feel like you don't have it elsewhere.
Yeah. And it can be, again, anything that you choose. Hey, I've really been struggling with this. I just want to let you know I committed to, the next 15 days even. And then by the day 16 comes, you're like, I'm going to keep going, right? There's something strange about this that we really cannot even describe into words. And I think it's because, whenever I decided to do the 75 Hard the first time, I just woke up and I committed and I was like, it doesn't matter. And then Becca's like, hey, I'm going to do it with you. And then, yes, there was moments of weakness during it where I'm like, God, it is freaking 98 degrees outside. All I want to do is lay out in here and tan. But instead, I'm going to ride my bike.
I did get very tan doing 75 Hard, walking outside in my sports bra a lot.
Now I'm going to get very pale and half frozen. But no, all seriousness, whatever it is that you need to commit to, our message for you is to finish this year strong. Finish it with purpose, intent every single day. And even if it's not perfect, so let's say you got 22 of the 29 days that we have left of this year. That's huge.
Huge. Such a difference, guys. Heck, even if you got 11 of the 29 days, that's 11 days that you did more than you probably would have decided to do yesterday or last year. And that's something else that we always talk to people about in terms of holidays, because holidays are hard. Gosh, there's so much temptation. There are so many social situations which make it really hard to stay committed to what you want to do for yourself. But what is it better than last year? Was it better than the year before that? Like, have you improved year over year on making choices that you're proud of and that make you feel better and make your body feel better? Because that's a win. Even if it was not every day of the month, I did X, Y, and Z. Like, I only ate one cookie at the holiday party versus last year I sat and ate the whole container. Yeah. Like, that's a win.
Yeah, or I left all of the leftovers behind because I knew that if I brought them home, that would be tempting for me.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's the last thing that I wanted to kind of bring up here is like whatever it is that's in your environment that's a trigger for you, you need to get it out of your house. You need to put it away, out of sight, out of mind. You need to, again, tell somebody about it and say, hey, this is a point of weakness for me, but here's the thing that I'm doing every day to try to prevent myself from caving to the late night ice cream again, And so I think that's really important because your environment is huge. If there's a candy bowl at work, move the candy bowl if you can. Stay out of the kitchen where all of the brownies and all the cookies and all of these other things are. Like, do as much as you can to force yourself to be successful at this. Like I was actually saying to Becca earlier today, is like when I was doing phase 1 with the visualization, I got up at 5 because it was the first thing. It's the hardest thing. That was the hardest thing for me. And it's the first thing that I wanted to get done because I know that if I put it off and I wait 9 o'clock at night, I can't even stay up past 9 o'clock most nights, right? So 9 o'clock at night, that's the last thing A, I'm going to want to do. And B, it's not going to be as effective because I'm not going to be fresh. And I'm just going to literally be putting in the time, waiting for this visualization, this 10 minutes of visualization to, end. Same thing with reading. Like, again, I'm tired at nighttime. So waiting till right before bed is just not my jam. I need to do it during the day or early in the morning. And so look at where your obstacles are and start to remove those barriers as much as you can. It's never going to be perfect. You will have temptations. But again, as we've said, I don't even know, 100 times on this podcast before, every time that you show up in the face of temptation and you overcome that obstacle, you win. You won that battle. So that's what we want to encourage with you guys today because we know that it's easy for you to rationalize. I'm debating in my mind, say rationalizations or rationalize. So we know that it's easy to do that. And a lot of people will do that, but we want more for you. So live it out with purpose and have a great day.